Okay, good morning. Finally, a new video for you to watch. This is going to be a little probably confusing. I will be honest and say this is the part of ZBrush that I had the hardest time grasping. Took me a few, well, frankly, a few years to really get it. So I was comfortable doing this all the time. And hopefully that won't take you that long. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes or my confusion. And this is about how to select portions of your model to isolate so that you can work on them. This is particularly useful if you have a system that's getting bogged down. You want to hide some of the geometry so that it's not having to think so much about what it's doing. You can just focus on a smaller area of the model that you're working with. So the way you do this is, and I've got a couple little cues down here for you, so you can just watch this and see what happens too. So it's hold down the Control and Shift keys, okay? And when you do that in here in ZBrush, what you're going to get is this select brush, okay? So whenever I click on this, this is what I'm going to see. Remember, if I hold on Shift, I get smooth. If I hold on Control, I get the mask brush. Well, both of those together gives you the select brushes, okay? And what you can do with those is you can drag parts of, or drag over parts of your model, like this, for instance. And then if I let go, you'll see this is green right now. And if I let go, it hides everything else, okay? And then I can use this to work on this particular area to basically get at things. So for instance, if you have an area that's kind of hard to get into to sculpt, like the inside of a mouth or something like that, you can hide the top part of the head to get at it, something like that. So the first thing you'll notice is when you do that, you're going to see that this is like this thin shell that's sort of disappearing as it moves around, okay? The way you can remedy that so you can see it, there's nothing wrong with that, is you can go to the display properties over on the right, it's way at the bottom, and just click double. When you click double, it shows the inside and the outside, and it's going to be a little easier to visualize what's going on with that, able to see that like so. Okay, so to bring the other part back after you're done noodling around with it, you just hold down Control Shift again and click outside your model, okay, like that, and then everything gets back. Now when you do something like that, like this, for instance, what you really don't want to do too much is work these edges, okay? If you start noodling with the edges, it's going to have a hard time figuring out what to do when you bring the rest of it back, because it's not paying attention to that part. It's as if it's not even there, okay? So make sure you give yourself enough room to work on the area that you want to use or to affect without having to mess with the edges too much, okay? And you'll see here, if I hold down Control and Shift and click on this, it's going to flip what is shown and hidden, okay, like this, okay? And if I click again, it comes back, okay? So again, hold on Control and Shift, you get here, we'll just do a different part this time so you can see a little better, this, and you'll see it's green, okay? Now if you wanted to shift that and make it so that it hides the other part without having to do the extra clicking, you can hold on the Option key and you'll see this turns red. So when that turns red, it means the other part is going to stay and that's going to be hidden, okay? And you can still flip that again by just holding Control Shift, clicking on this, clicking that. You can hide everything, click outside of it, and you get everything back, okay? Another nice thing you can do there is if you want to get a little closer or change where this is, you can hold the space bar down. And when you do that, and clearly you have too many fingers going at this point, but you can move this thing around while your mouse is held down and the space bar is held down. And then let go of the space bar, and then you can hide that thing, okay, like so. All right, so there's a rectangle available for that, and there's also a lasso, okay, this guy. Select lasso. So for something that's a little more hard to get at, like say I want to get at these the top of this fin thing here like this, hold on Control and Shift, and now that is the one that is going to be selected, and then I can just sort of drag here like this and kind of work my way around and let go, and then that's all that's showing. And you'll see once I turn double on here, it's on for eternity for that model. Okay, so you only have to do that once. And then I can go in here and I can, sculpt. I can do things with this, with my regular brushes here. And I'm trying to, kind of stay away from the edges, as I said. I don't have symmetry on right now, so I don't really want to do that. I'll turn that on. But yeah, so I can do this, things like that. Mess around with this a little bit, and then just bring that all back, and you'll see that my changes are there. Everything's cool, and I can just go from there. Okay. So it's a little confusing at first, particularly since you kind of lose track of what's going on and where things are. Now there is another function here that you can use this for, and that is something called polygroups. Okay, so if I turn on polyframe here, this is all one polygroup. It's all the same color. Okay, so for instance, if I turn that off for the moment, and if I mask something, let's say I just decide I want to mask this fin out right here. Okay, I'm just gonna make my brush size a little bigger. I can drag over that, and I can also brush right on it, like so, like that. Okay, so you can use masking to add polygroups to your model. Okay, so the way you do that is Control and W with something that's masked. So if I turn this on, you see this looks like this. Control W, that puts this in a different color. So this is now a separate polygroup that you can isolate by using these same options over here. Now this is a little different because you don't have to hold down and drag. You can just hold down Control, Shift, and click, and it will isolate that. If I click again, that part goes away, like so. Okay, so Control W will do that with something that is masked. All right, so again, if I want to mask something else here, like this, Control W is going to give me another color to work with there, like so. Okay, if I hit Control W again, it will change everything to a single polygroup. Okay, so I can undo that. Again, if I mask, Control W. Okay, so in doing that, I can then really quickly, it's almost like having a selection that I can get back to over and over again. If I just want to work on this, like so, I can hide that. Okay, I can grab different parts here, like so, and hide different things. All right, so it's pretty useful thing to be able to do. Okay, so those polygroups do come into play because you can do other things with them. Okay, and I'll show you that in the next video where I talk about these different select brushes. Okay, so hopefully this makes a little bit of sense, and you'll find as your models get more complicated, you're going to want to isolate stuff to work on, so it's easier to focus on just the parts you want to mess with and not have other stuff get in the way. Okay, check back, more to come.